By far, one of the most difficult things about having a wood shop or building one out is the expense. By no means is this a cheap hobby or profession, and we're reminded of this every time we need a new tool or supply for the shop, but I do have something that might be able to help that has saved me thousands. This is the new Festool TS55 FEQ, and I just got it last week. But the thing is, it's not new. It's actually a reconditioned tool. And this is how I buy a lot of my tools. And if it's not reconditioned, it's just used from another person. Let me show you. My jointer, I bought it used. My planer, I also bought used. Miter saw, also used. Dust collector, you guessed it, used. I also bought the ducting used. This jigsaw, I bought it reconditioned. And everything Festool that I own is either reconditioned or used. Like used, reconditioned, reconditioned. If I had to guess, I would say that my shop consists of about 80% used and reconditioned tools, with 20% being brand new. But what does reconditioned even mean? Different companies have different definitions of what they consider to be a refurbished or reconditioned tool, but according to Festool, they say reconditioned tools may include items which have been previously in service, as well as discontinued items or dealer returns. But to make that a little bit more simple, how I understand it is that it's tools that have been previously used by somebody and they either returned it because they didn't like it, or they returned it because something went wrong with it. And what Festool does is take back that tool, they fix anything that's wrong with it, give it kind of a check to make sure everything's good, and then they sell it back to the public at a discounted rate, usually between 20 and 50%. But don't think that Festool's the only one who sells reconditioned tools. There's lots of great websites that sell brands like Bosch, Makita, and Milwaukee, and I'll link those down in the description below. And by far my favorite place to find just straight up used tools is Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes it takes a little bit of patience, but if you're willing to wait on it, eventually the tool you're looking for will pop up. But why am I telling you this? Who cares how much I've saved? Well, that small list of tools that I mentioned earlier that I got used or reconditioned saved me over $2,500, which will allow me to put that somewhere else in my shop, or even put it into materials for my next build, like all this walnut. And before you hop in the comments and say something silly, I understand that there is risk behind this, that you may not know how somebody used the tool previously, especially in just buying it used from someone else. Did they take care of it well? Hopefully you can determine that on your own and decide whether or not you want to buy something from that person. For me personally, I've only ever had great luck buying tools this way, and I've saved a lot of money doing it. And the last thing I wanted to say is, if you are going to go try to get any of the reconditioned Festool items, it is pretty difficult to get what you want. They don't just always have everything available. They kind of release it in batches of tools, and they only sell one thing at a time. And if that one thing doesn't sell, it just sits there. I think it's only up for 36 or 48 hours or something like that, and then it'll move on to the next one. So just know that you have to be patient, but you also need to look. If you're really wanting something from them, you've got to hop on there. I used to do it every morning when I really want something from them. So there's just a little tip on that just be patient, but be persistent, and eventually you'll get what you want.